Today on the channel, it's a return of the Kyle Peterson Top 10, as today we're counting down my top 10 favorite Eddie Guerrero figures of all time.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for the return of the Kyle Peterson Top 10 list. And today, it's Eddie Guerrero's time to shine as we're counting down my top 10 favorite Eddie Guerrero figures of all time. Of course, this is the 17,000 subscribers special. Every 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, we're going to do a special top 10 countdown. And today, we are doing Eddie Guerrero. And of course, everybody knows Eddie Guerrero by now, I would think, if you're a wrestling fan. My first introduction to Eddie Guerrero has to be the, when Worlds Collide pay-per-view back in the day. I remember seeing that as a young, I don't know, was I a teenager? Maybe just barely a teenager, something like that. But that was the first time I ever saw Eddie Guerrero. Then, of course, seeing him in ECW, along with Jericho, Guerrero, Malenko, Benoit. I mean, a lot of the Sabus in the world. That was my first exposure to them ever, was in the ECW ring. And then, of course, we had the great talent raid from WCW to ECW. Saw Eddie Guerrero in WCW. That's where we watched him shine. That's where he really came into his own. And then went into even greater heights, of course, into the WWE. But all-time favorite Eddie Guerrero time frame for me, most likely is WCW time. I mean, I liked him enough in the WWE, but there was just something special about all those really great matches in WCW. Even that, like, you know, Saturday Night's main event, WCW Saturday Night, how about? Just seeing him and Psychosis wrestle a match on there was always really cool. And he had some great matches in WWE against Lesnar, JBL, Chavo, I mean, Rey Mysterio, many people. Definitely an all-time great, but I guess selfishly, or just for me, and once again, this is my list, you guys know how it goes, I always enjoy his WCW time frame the most, and maybe I'm different, maybe I'm not, and you guys can sound off in the comments down below if you want on that. But of course, we're going to count them down, start at number 10, work our way to number 1. Once again, this is my list. Make sure you put your list in the comments, and make sure you put them in order. That is the fun part of this. So without further ado, let's get after it. Let's kick it off with my 10th favorite Eddie Guerrero figure of all time. All right, we kick off the top 10 Eddie Guerrero figures of all time, and number 10 is a sleeper. I gotta think I'm probably the only one in the universe with this one on his top 10, and I'm not even 100% sure if this was actually accurate. As we know, this one comes from Jax, and Jax wasn't always the best as being 100% accurate on things, but this one always makes me smile. This one always is just kind of a strange looking pack. It is from the Jax Adrenaline 2-packs, Eddie Guerrero, John Cena from their parking lot brawl. A fabulous street gear Eddie Guerrero, and ever since I was a little kid, I have always loved the street fights. When wrestlers would come to the ring in boots, jeans, taped fists, they're ready for a real street fight. I've always had a special place for figures that represent that, and that's what this Eddie Guerrero has. He's got the jeans on, he's got the taped fist, he's ready to go. Of course, the John Cena in this pack, very strange, just very strange pack all around. It's just so different that it's fun, and it is different. And sometimes it's great to have the classic gears, things like that, but to get a curveball like this every once in a while, you can't help but laugh and smile. And this one's always been a fond one since the day it came out from Jax back in the day. Just very cool, very different, and that's why it comes in at number 10 on my top 10 list. All right, the Eddie Guerrero countdown continues. At the number 9 spot, we once again return to Jax, but this time, Jax Classic Superstars Series 19, a little bit later in the line, and a bit of a sleeper hit here, as it's Jax Classic Superstars Series 19 Eddie Guerrero Black Tiger Edition, I guess in quotation, as originally this was supposed to have his Black Tiger masked head. Unfortunately, I'm sure legal issues with New Japan, things like that, it didn't work out. So we just got a plain Jane Eddie Guerrero, basically the Black Tiger Eddie Guerrero without the mask is what we ended up getting, which is what it is, a little bit disappointing, and I don't know if it was technically Black Tiger, would it be able to be in an Eddie Guerrero top 10? I don't know, I guess we could probably grandfather that one in. But this one is very cool, and like I said, it is a sleeper one, and I know this is a hill I'm going to die on here, but I think Jax killed it with the Eddie Guerrero face scan. Just absolutely awesome. When I think of Eddie Guerrero, when I close my eyes before my head hits my pillow at night, well, I don't know if I go that far, but you know what I mean. When I close my eyes and think of Eddie Guerrero in figure form, I still think this head holds up after all these years. When I think of Eddie Guerrero, this is what I think of. The mullet, kind of his facial features in this sculpt tells the story of Eddie Guerrero. He's got kind of the lip curl going on, got some bad attitude going on. Just personifies him to a T is what this figure does. Just absolutely cool. And of course, we got a lot of Jakks figures from Eddie Guerrero over the years, and man, they're all really good. If you look at the head sculpts on those, short hair, long hair, you name it, I think they're all tremendous. But this one, something about it, being a sleeper, just sticks in my mind. It's a special one. It's Jakks Classic Superstar Series 19, and it's number 9 on my list. All right, feeling great at number 8, and for the number 8 Eddie Guerrero figure of all time, once again, we return to Jakks Classic Superstars, and we go to Series 17. It's the I'm Your Poppy edition of Eddie Guerrero. Very, very fabulous looking figure here. I love the bright green tights, the title belt, beautiful touch. I'm Your Poppy soft goods shirt. Soft goods weren't the norm back in the day, so you can see they're still working out some kicks, a little bit big. And then you do get the iconic Eddie Guerrero kind of highlight short haircut that we got later in his run. Just a fabulous, fabulous one. A lot more detail to this figure than the prior classic, but I do still say that prior classic had the better head sculpt, but this one is phenomenal as well. Of course, there was a 1 of 100 version of this one that some collectors have. I personally do not own, but I do prefer the green tights over the red in that one. That's a personal preference, of course. But a fabulous, fabulous Eddie Guerrero. One at the time that didn't feel quite classic, but now all these years later, glad to have this in the Classic Superstars line. Just a fabulous figure, and that's why it comes in at number 8 on my top 10 list. All right, we keep rolling with the countdown, and number 7 once again comes from Jakks. We're seeing quite the theme right here. We're going to Jakks Ruthless Aggression. We're going to the SummerSlam pay-per-view series, Eddie Guerrero. Now, we've gotten a lot of Jakks Eddie Guerrero figures over the year. There's no denying that. Just tons and tons of them. A lot of them the exact same figure with just different tights. And that's the way Jakks went to business. Get the most out of your molds 101 is what that is. But something about this Eddie Guerrero always spoke to me. Yes, we got this head sculpt multiple times, the body style, the hands multiple times. But the tights, along with this head, the highlights, the purple tights going on with this one, the nice flames on the side, the gold boots, and then the packaging is always a part of these as well. Now, I didn't keep these on card, but I always loved the pay-per-view themed packaging from Jakks, and I always felt this SummerSlam era packaging from Jakks was absolutely fabulous. So you get fabulous packaging, a fabulous figure, a fabulous main line Ruthless Aggression Jakks Eddie Guerrero figure. There's just not a lot on my list that I don't like about this one. So it's a little different. You can choose your own adventure, as we always say, and this is my list. But for this one, he's coming in at number 7. All right, we're at the number 6 spot in our Eddie Guerrero countdown. To number 6, we finally enter the arena with Mattel. Of course, Mattel making WWE Elites, Ultimate Editions, Basics, you name it. They're making it all in this day and age, and they are giving us a lot of Eddie Guerrero figures. And a fairly recent one we've got was a Target exclusive. What am I talking about? We're talking about Target Legends Series 8 exclusive Eddie Guerrero. More of a closer to modern day Eddie Guerrero than his classic ECW, WCW, Japan, Mexico figures we received. This one is good. Once again, we're going back to the I'm Your Poppy shirt. Very famous, of course. Soft goods, cool highlights, short haircut on this one. Only gripe I have on this figure is maybe the ears are a hair too big. He's got a little bit of a mouse ear thing going on here. But absolutely fabulous. Of course, I love the Legends line. Of course, we love the Mattel Elites. Just the greatest wrestling figures going currently today. Yeah, you could say AEW's got some good stuff going on. Maybe even Super 7, some people. But for the longevity that Mattel has done, the premium content, with their hands tied on some things, as we know, and maybe the general public doesn't know, they have come out with some amazing figures over the last 10 plus years, and hopefully it continues for many, many years to come. But this Eddie Guerrero, just really cool. This is one of those ones that wasn't very hard to get back in the day, and back in the day is just like over a year ago. But still probably not going to break your wallet totally, but definitely more than retail at this point in time. But a very, very solid Eddie Guerrero, later career Eddie Guerrero. I'm here for it. Legend Series 8 coming in at number 6. All right, we made it to the halfway point. Make sure you get your list together. Make sure you put it in the comments down below. And make sure you put it in order. So there it is. But number 5, we go once again from Mattel. We go all the way to Target. Hop in the car and head to Target. And we're going to the Target exclusive Hall of Fame line. Series 2, what is it? It's Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero. Now, we didn't get a soft goods shirt with this one, which holds it back a little bit. But you can easily go to a soft good maker out there that makes these t-shirts. There's tons of them online, and they could get you one of these very easily. But the Latino Heat shirt, very cool. I should probably, now that I think of it, I should get a soft goods one of these. Maybe I will one of these days. But Latino Heat version, of course, a great era of Eddie Guerrero in the WWE. Really where he started to really climb that ladder going on here. Of course, his time with China. Really did like the roses with this one. Nice added touch. Polly Pocket shirt is what it is. Beautiful gear and beautiful packaging. Always loved these. They always stood out at my local Target, any Target, I guess. Just a really, really cool Eddie Guerrero. And kind of a midpoint transition era for Eddie Guerrero, of course, in the WWE at the time. Just absolutely fabulous. A very good one. Got the classic mullet. Gotta love a good mullet. That's why, though, Eddie Guerrero, a lot to like about this one. And that's why he comes in at number 5 in my top 10 list. All right, we're getting dangerously close to that top spot. We're at the number 4 selection here in my top 10 Eddie Guerrero figures. And number 4, once again, we're seeing a pattern. We go back to Mattel and we go back to Target. We get in our car, we go right back to Target. But this is a Target exclusive line. And if you guys saw my top 5 countdown of my favorite Elite style packages of all time, you know all about this one. And this one comes from the Hall of Champions line. Beautiful packaging. The packaging doesn't get better. This very well could be my favorite wrestling packaging of all time. The Classic Superstars is pretty iconic to me, but man, this Hall of Champions is phenomenal. I wish this was the Legends packaging from the get-go and they would have kept it all the time instead of kind of that brown stuff we have right now. But there's no use changing. But the background on this, the way the figure just felt so clean and packaged, just a fabulous, fabulous line. Check out all the Hall of Champion figures. But this one represents WCW Cruiserweight Champion 1997, and they even give him the WWE Cruiserweight title. A little head scratcher there. But what we're talking about Eddie Guerrero, Hall of Champions. Fabulous, fabulous. And I gotta say, for me, I always said WCW area is when, that's my, close my eyes, I think of Eddie Guerrero. This is his most iconic gear for me. Maybe he's not for you, but for me, this is, when I think Eddie Guerrero wrestling, this is usually what I think of first. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of fan base that thinks his WWE time. Maybe there's even other fan base that thinks more of his Mexico time. But for me, it's his WCW. And this outfit represents his WCW time frame to me. Really, really good. My only little gripe here with this one, a little bit in the face, not quite 100% Eddie Guerrero. I feel a lot more like Hector Guerrero out of this one. It would be great for a Hector Guerrero custom if you're looking to do that. But we all know about the Guerrero family. Of course, Chavo, another guy. Maybe we could do a top 5 list of Chavo figures probably one of these days. But just very clean, very bright. This one pops. You put it in the package, pops even more. Just an all-around fabulous figure for one of my favorite toy lines of all time, the Hall of Champions, Eddie Guerrero, coming in at number 4. All right, we're at the number 3 spot, and for number 3, you know, the great Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden, he once told me, he said, Kyle, I feel like I've been here before, and his great song, Deja Vu, of course, check out Iron Maiden, who wouldn't love some Iron Maiden, but I get a little deja vu here, as number 3 is feeling a lot like number 4. What is it? Number 3, we go back to Jax. We go to the Best of WCW line set, a fabulous set. And I actually unboxed this on the channel maybe a year ago, so go check out the review of me unboxing this one. If I had to do it all over again, maybe I would have kept that mint on card. I don't know, because I feel like I need to pick up the Best of ECW, Best of WCW Jax sets, mint on card, have them on display. I might do that. A little long game, a long game collection. I'm going to try to buy them all at once instead of piecing them together. But we'll see. But anyways, where I'm going with this, the Best of WCW line, awesome for nostalgia heads like myself, especially back at the time. WCW wasn't dead a whole long time for this line to come out, but it was really cool to get some of the most iconic guys in their WCW gear. I was all for that in the Jax Ruthless Aggression. And I talked about earlier in that Classic Superstars one, how this head sculpt for Eddie Guerrero just always screamed Eddie Guerrero to me, and it still does. Very good, got the kind of side thing going on. Of course, you got the mullet. And then the very iconic singlet we just talked about with the Mattel version. This one, just once again, feels amazing in hand. playability, just the way it feels, puts this one closer to the top spot than the Mattel counterpart. Now, the packaging on the Mattel I absolutely love, but like I said, the best of WCW on this packaging, pretty cool as well. A very, very cool figure. Love that he's got a fist. There's no denying, you guys know I love a fist. But very, very clean, very crisp. Feels good in hand, great packaging. There is just a ton to like about this best of WCW Eddie Guerrero, and that is why he comes in at number 3. Oh baby, we're down to the final 2, and number 2 once again comes from Jakks. Yes, Jakks Pacific, home run with a lot of Eddie Guerrero figures, and I gotta say, this is the most underrated Eddie Guerrero figure of all time. A lot of people do not know this one even exists. It's one of, if not the most, it can't be the most. That 1 of 100 is probably the rarest. But this has got to be maybe the second rarest Eddie Guerrero figure of all time. And like I said, a lot of people don't even know this one exists. What is it? Well, it's a Jakks WWE shop exclusive. Towards the dying days of Jakks, they came out with a lot of these box sets, and it was a WWE Jakks exclusive box set, as I said. But Eddie Guerrero LWO edition, how about that? Now, this is one of those ones where Classic Superstar, yeah, I think this one does count. It's not in the Classic Superstars packaging, of course, but we got kind of the logo right there. But at the top, look at that, Classic Superstars. On the back, look at that, Classic Superstar. So I think we have to count this one. And this one, once again, very, very fabulous. The Latino World Order soft goods shirt just fits on him a lot better than the I'm Your Poppy one we saw earlier. Just a sleeper figure. Man, I would love a loose version of this, and I think that ship has sailed. For a long time, this was a very cheap figure. Even loose ones popped up, but you don't see this one pop up like you used to. It's very rare, very few and far between, and definitely a Classic Superstars figure that you got to count it in your collection. Just absolutely cool here. Fabulous one. Like I said, a lot of people don't even know about this one, but this one for me, coming in at number 2 on my top 10 list. All right, we're at the end of the road here. We're time to announce the number 1 Eddie Guerrero figure of all time as voted by me. As usual, make sure you put your list in the comments down below and make sure you put them in order. That is the fun. And then you made it this far, you might as well like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the old notification bell. Every single Thursday, we're counting down something here on the channel. You don't want to miss it. And of course, if you're a member of the Patreon, link in the description below, you can get this video, many videos early, bonus video, exclusive content, and don't forget giveaways. And best of all, you support the channel and all the content on it. But without further ado, let's get down to it. Let's get down to the number 1 Eddie Guerrero figure. And once again, we go to Mattel. So a very even mix of Mattel and Jakks throughout this line. Both making phenomenal Eddie Guerrero figures. But this one was super special. Now, it's not my favorite era of Eddie Guerrero, but there's no one denying that this one is number 1 for me. And what are we talking about? We're talking about Legend Series 6. Eddie Guerrero. I finally got this loose not too long ago. I did sell my unboxed copy to help pay for this. I got a little funds back, of course, because I'm primarily a loose collector, you guys know. But this one, so iconic. Of course, his title win, the biggest moment in Eddie's career, undoubtedly. Just a fabulous moment. Like I said, WCW era is my favorite era of Eddie Guerrero, but there's no denying how special this moment was when he won the title, where they always said it was the big man's world, all that kind of stuff in the WWE. He rose to the top, had the fan support, got the title belt, worked hard to get it. Just fabulous time for Eddie Guerrero. Of course, it comes with the title belt. The Legends packaging will always be special to me. It's what brought me back into the Mattel game. As I thought after Classics, you know, I thought I was done with wrestling figures. And then that Ultimate Warrior and that Legends packaging just sucked old Kyle back in. And I was off to the races. And this was one of those ones around that time where I started collecting again. But very cool, short-haired Eddie, not mulleted Eddie, as you guys know. Got his tattoos, got the beautiful tights, the coloring. Just a lot to like about this, and probably the most special Eddie Guerrero figure just because it represents that time frame where he did win the title belt. So Eddie Guerrero coming in number 1, Legends Series 6 from Mattel. Once again, remind you, make sure you put your list in the comments down below. Follow along on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. So there it is, the 17,000 subscriber special of my favorite Eddie Guerreros of all time.